Hi guys, this is Shamika of ShamikaDalfa.com coming to you today with some information. I wanted to come to you with this information because I got a question about a couple of problems that a particular stylist was having, and they asked me about it. So I figured this may be an issue for many stylists, and we wanted to address that so that everyone could hear the answer all at one time. And hopefully this will help you. Now, the questions are pertaining to how to deal with late clients and to actually to try to avoid that from happening from the start. And what do you do when a client wants you to redo a service, or they got their hair done and now it's messed up and they want you to redo it? So stick around and we're going to address those questions here. Let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Shamika Dalfa of ShamikaDalfa.com. I am a licensed stylist, salon owner, beauty educator, and beauty business builder, helping newly and established stylists increase their clientele and income through programs, products, and services. And one of those programs that I actually use, one of the products that I actually use, is a product called Papermate. So I wanted to come to you today to talk to you about the Papermate forms that I use that actually help to remedy the two problems that were asked. So again, one of the questions was, how do you deal with late clients? Now, I wanted to share with you this client agreement form that I use. Now, during the intake process of new clients, I have clients to fill out an intake form regarding a consultation form regarding their hair history and the things that they do, what they're looking for, expectations. And I also have them to review and sign a client agreement form. And this is what I have here. And in this client agreement form, it actually answers both of the questions that were posed to me. In regards to how to deal with late clients and what you do when this client wants a redo of a service. So I want to read a little bit of my client agreement form to you so you can know how to address those clients when those issues come up. Now, in my client agreement form, there is a section for core commitments, because as a stylist, there are things that I commit to you as a stylist, and there are things that I expect of you as a client, and one of those things is to be on time. Now, I do know we live in a real world where real things happen, and there are going to be some exceptions to the rules. Now, if your car breaks down, or somebody just robbed you, or, you just had a flat tire on the way to the shop, those things, though they happen rarely, and we pray that never happens to anyone, but the reality is you may not necessarily want to charge a late fee or cancellation fee if someone just had something devastating happen to their life. If someone in their family just died and so they can't make their hair appointment, you don't want to go adding on a cancellation fee for something catastrophic like that. So you have to use your best judgment. But as a general rule, here's something that I like to provide my clients with so that they will know up front before any service ever begins what is expected of them as a client. And in one of these core commitments, it states that the appointments are primarily scheduled online. So that is one thing that I highly recommend. Use an online booking service for the scheduling of your clients. It allows you as a stylist to be hands-free. It allows you as a stylist to not have to stop working to take down appointments, which is an awesome time saver. I like Schedulicity. I like Acuity. There's Vigaro. There are other scheduling services. I recommend that every stylist use a scheduling service to book appointments online. So that's one thing. It says that appointments are scheduled online and require, for me, at least a 24-hour cancellation notice. Now, you can change that to whatever works for you. 48 hours, 72 hours, however many days in advance, a couple of hours, however much time you need in advance for cancellation. So what mine states is that a 24-hour cancellation, there's a 24-hour cancellation notice that is required before additional charges apply, which means that if you do not cancel your appointment within that 24-hour time frame, then there is a late cancellation fee. Now, you have to do what works for you in your salon. But with this information known up front for clients, it makes things better and it eliminates problems later on with them being late, because there can never be a I didn't know there was a fee because I canceled my appointment. Because yes, you did, because you have this client agreement that was signed and dated by both of us that shows that these are the policies of the salon. And the policy clearly states that a 24-hour notice is required for all cancellations before a charge is applied, a cancellation fee is applied. Now, you as a stylist, a salon owner, you have to determine what that cancellation fee will be, whether that's $25, whether that's half of the service that you're scheduled to have rendered. So let's say if your service that they had booked was for $100 and you charge a half cancellation fee for the service that they had scheduled to be rendered, which means that would be a $50 cancellation fee for that $100 service that you had booked. Now, you may want to do a base fee for cancellation, or you may want to do something that's based on the time allotment, or like I said, the service that will be rendered. But it is very important to make sure that the client knows that up front. It eliminates problems later, as I said. So one great way to have that issue remedied is education. Education is key. So you educate, you inform your client before a service is even rendered that, hey, these are the policies, this is what happens, this is what I expect of you, I need for you to be on time for your appointments, or else there is a cancellation fee, or I need for you to be present for your appointments, or else there is a cancellation fee. Now, the same thing applies with late fees. You may give a there may be a 10-15 minute window that you allot for your clients before a late fee is accumulated. But if that is the case, you also need to have that addressed up front, and a good way to have that done is to have that in your client agreement forms from the start. So another commitment that you may wish to have on your client agreement forms is to state that, because you want to ensure that every client is allotted ample attention and ample time, we request that you call if you're running late. However, if you are more than 15 minutes late, or if you are more than 10 minutes late, your appointment may be rescheduled to a later date or time. Because the reality is, as a stylist, and we all know, if that first client is late and the timing is off, it throws off the rest of your day. So if your first client comes in late, then that's going to automatically change your time for your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on. So you want to make sure that if a client is running late, that they know the consequences of their lateness before they even come. So an example, like I said, is because we want to ensure every client is allotted ample time and attention, we request that you call if you're running late to a scheduled appointment. And if you're more than 15 minutes late, your appointment may be rescheduled to a later date and time. You may also wish to charge a late fee for that, whether that's, as we said with the cancellation fee, whether that's a set fee of $25 or $30, or if that's a percentage of the cost of the service that you were originally going to render. There's also a time in which, even if you agree to accept the client at that late time, you also want to have something in place that states what they will be charged for. For example, if they originally booked a 2-hour slot and they are 30 minutes late, the reality is now they cannot have the service that would originally require 2 hours of your time. So they have to change. If you're going to accept them, they have to change the service in which they're getting rendered. Now, you as a stylist and a salon owner, you have the option, if it's pre-stated in your client agreement, which is the easiest way to do it, if you would charge for the original service that they had booked for that 2-hour slot, because the reality is you still had that 2 hours of time that you had reserved specifically for them. So you want to make sure that they know ahead of time you had 2-hour slot that was reserved for you at the cost of $115 for the service that you were getting. However, you're 45 minutes late, so that service cannot be rendered, but you will still be charged $115 because that is the time slot that you had allotted. This is something that you want to make sure that your clients know up front if this is the policy that you choose to follow. So I recommend that you put that in your core agreements. Put that in your client agreements as another core. That way, the client will not have any questions. You won't have the dispute later on. The knowledge will already be given so that they will already know what to expect when they come for their service. So that addresses what to do when clients are late, or letting them know ahead of time the consequences of being late or tardy or canceling. Another thing that you want to address is when clients may not be satisfied with the service. Now, the reality is, if you've been doing hair forever and a day, at some point you may have a client that is not satisfied with their service, especially if you're new and just starting out. But the reality is, you have to be careful because everybody, it does not always have your best interest at heart, and there are those clients that want things for free when it's really not the best interest for you. So again, you want to make sure that you have a plan in place ahead of time. What I've learned over the years is that some people do not tie their hair up. Some people, if they have a high bun, they're getting in the car, they're knocking their head, forgetting that they have a high bun, and so now their bun is pushed back somewhere over to the side or something like that. Things do happen. So you want to have something in place to address when those things do happen. So one way that you can word this is, you, as a stylist, as a salon owner, you want to have a guarantee of some point on all of your services, because you shouldn't walk out the door and your service, a client should not walk out the door and the service that you just rendered, it looks like nothing has been done. Now, there needs to be a guarantee on your services, because you should be secure in your own work. So one way to do this is, if you have a guarantee on your services, whether that's 24 hours, 48 hours, I don't recommend that it's too long, because the reality is things could happen. If your client goes out and their baby snatches, some pins out and moves their hair, then that's one thing. If your client doesn't tie their hair up at night and they have a wild night for whatever reason, then their hair is going to change. So those are just a couple of examples. So you may want to have something in place already on your client agreement that states, here's an example, you have a 24-hour guarantee on all services. If there is something that needs to be addressed or changed or fixed with your hair within that 24 hours of your appointment, simply give us a call and we'll set up a quick consult to address any concerns or issues that you may be having. Because the reality is, as a stylist, of course you want your clients to be absolutely thrilled with their hair. You want them to be elated. You want them to be in love with their hair. Because when you look good, you feel good, and you're going to exude that confidence as a client going out. So you want to make sure that you are secure in the services that you render, and that you can place a guarantee on your services. Now, there's going to be times when, like I said, someone just doesn't like their hair. So you have to use your discretion as far as a refund, a partial refund, or what you're willing to give. Now, as a stylist, you've had your education, you've had your hours, your training, your time alone is worth something. So you should always charge for your time in addition to the service that you rendered. So keep that in mind when it comes to issuing refunds and what you're comfortable with. Now, there are some people that you just may have to take an L for, because to eliminate the drama that could potentially be associated with it. But as a stylist, know your worth. It's important to know your worth and to be confident in the services that you provide. So as I said, it's good to have something in place ahead of time to address the issue of a potential redo of service or a potential refund. So have something in place from the start. Have something on your client agreement, have something on your intake forms that lets clients know, okay, you have a guarantee of services for 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it is that you choose to have. You are expected as a client to make sure that your hair is tied up at night, refrain from any, standing on your head activities that may change your hair. That way the clients know what is expected and you've already given them the opportunity. Now, it's different if the client is dissatisfied before they leave your salon. Now, with that, that's something totally different. Now, if someone is dissatisfied before they leave your salon, I recommend that you go ahead and rectify the problem right then. But if a client leaves and calls you later or comes back, then you already have something in place that addresses the issue that they will have. And you may want to set up a quick consult, which will allow maybe 20 minutes to kind of fix the issue. And you can set that up on your appointment schedule. That way, if Susie calls because Susie has a problem, it's been 24 hours and she forgot she had a bun on her head, she was in a rush getting in the car and she, shifted the bun. She needs a couple minutes for you to kind of recurl her and repin her. Boom. That's fine. That could be absolutely free. That's not going to take you more than 15 minutes. And that's already pre-established in your client agreement. So what that does is save you heartache. It saves issues. It lets clients know ahead of time what they can expect. And it eliminates confusion. So I wanted to share that with you because we know that that's a problem that stylists face sometimes in this world of beauty. You will have clients that will show up late or that will have last minute cancellations, and you will have clients that will want a redo or will need a change in their service. So I use client forms. I use a client agreement form to help eliminate those issues, to address those problems before they even occur, so that it saves you time, it saves you money, it saves you heartache as a stylist, because it helps to eliminate the issues that could possibly come. So I hope that you guys have found this helpful. This is Shamika of ShamikaDelta.com. I want to let you know too that this client agreement form, I actually have it in a package. So there are plenty of forms that help to address clients with other issues, such as, excuse me, such as, like we said, being late, such as if they're wasting your time, if they're bringing in extra people that aren't supposed to be at the appointment, if they're making last minute changes, that type of thing. So if you're interested, feel free to check out bit.ly/Papermate Forms. That's bit.ly/Papermate Forms. And I hope you guys have found this information helpful. Continue to follow us here. We shall continue to share great information that will help us all make the world a more beautiful place. This is Shamika of ShamikaDelta.com signing off for right now. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.